Most people believe their dog already knows they're loved. It feels obvious. There's food in the bowl, a walk every day, a soft place to sleep, maybe even toys scattered across the floor. From the outside, it looks complete, but something doesn't quite add up. Because even in homes where everything seems right, you still see small signs that don't fit the picture. The hesitation before your dog settles, the way they watch you from across the room instead of coming closer, the moments where they seem present but not fully at ease. And once you notice those moments, a question starts to form. What if love isn't something your dog assumes, but something they're constantly trying to read, not through what you give them, but through what you do, in the smallest, most ordinary parts of the day? That's where things become easy to misunderstand. Because the signals your dog looks for rarely look important. They don't stand out. They don't feel like big moments. But to your dog, they are. And once you begin to see those moments differently, you start to realize something uncomfortable. Some of the ways you show love don't translate at all. And some of the things that seem insignificant are the ones your dog builds everything on. Think about what usually happens when you walk through the door. Your dog reacts instantly. Energy rises, movement speeds up, everything becomes focused on you. And most people respond in one of two ways. Either they ignore the dog to avoid excitement, or they give quick, distracted attention while doing something else. Both feel reasonable, neither feels the same to your dog. Because for them, this moment isn't just a greeting, it's a reset. While you were gone, your dog's world was quieter, less certain, slightly incomplete. And the second you return, they're not just excited, they're checking something. Are we connected again? If your attention is split, rushed, or inconsistent, that answer stays unclear. But if you pause, even briefly, and give them your full presence, something settles almost immediately. Not because of the duration, because of the clarity. Most walks are structured around human time. There's a route, a destination, a sense of moving forward, and every time your dog slows down, stops, or becomes interested in something invisible to you, it feels like a delay. So you guide them forward, gently, or sometimes not so gently. But here's what shifts everything. Your dog isn't experiencing the walk as movement, they're experiencing it as information. Every scent, every pause, every small detour is part of how they understand the world around them. And when that process is constantly interrupted, the walk becomes something else entirely. Less exploration, more compliance. And over time, your dog starts adjusting to your pace, while quietly losing something that mattered to them far more than distance ever did. You probably say your dog's name dozens of times a day, sometimes with warmth, sometimes out of habit, sometimes without even thinking about it. And to you, the word stays the same. But to your dog, it never does. Because what they're actually responding to isn't the name itself. It's the emotional tone wrapped around it. There's a version of your voice that feels grounding. It slows things down. It softens their body without you noticing. It signals safety in a way that doesn't need explanation. And then there's another version, slightly flatter, slightly distracted, not negative, just empty. The difference between those two versions doesn't seem dramatic. But to your dog, it changes everything about how that moment feels. And over time, those moments begin to define how they experience you. Play is often treated as something extra, something you fit in when there's time, something that keeps your dog busy, burns energy, fills a gap in the day. But real play doesn't feel like that to your dog. Because when play is done with full attention, with movement, unpredictability, and genuine engagement, it stops being entertainment. It becomes expression. Your dog isn't just chasing a toy. They're stepping into something instinctive, something deeply familiar, something that makes sense on a level they don't need to think about. And when you're part of that experience, not just present but involved, you become part of that meaning. That's when play stops being optional and starts becoming something your dog begins to rely on. There are moments when your dog chooses distance. They move to another room. They settle in a quiet corner. They lie down somewhere slightly removed from everything else. And most people interpret that as neutral, or they interrupt it, calling them back, re-engaging, pulling them into interaction again. But what looks like distance is often something else. It's regulation, a way of lowering stimulation, processing the day, returning to a state where their body can fully relax. And when that space isn't respected, something subtle starts to happen. your dog learns that rest is temporary, that stillness can be interrupted at any time, that there is no place where nothing is expected of them. And over time, that uncertainty builds into something you can't quite see, but your dog feels constantly. Up until this point, everything seems small: a greeting, a walk, a tone of voice, a moment of play, a bit of space. Individually, none of these feel like defining moments, but together, they start forming something your dog depends on more than anything else: a pattern. And once that pattern becomes consistent, something shifts that most people never notice directly. Your dog stops guessing and starts trusting. There's a specific kind of moment that happens quietly. You're sitting down. Your dog comes closer, slowly, without urgency, and settles against you. Not asking for attention, not initiating play, just choosing proximity. And then, they relax. This moment is easy to overlook. It feels simple, comfortable, familiar. But underneath it, something significant is happening, because your dog is lowering their guard in a way they don't do lightly. And what happens next matters more than most people realize. If you shift, get up, or disrupt that moment, even gently, the experience ends. But if you stay, even when it's inconvenient, even when your arm goes numb or your position becomes uncomfortable, something else happens. The moment deepens. And your dog begins to associate you not just with activity, but with stillness that feels safe enough to fully let go. If there's one thing that ties all of this together, it's not intensity, it's consistency. Not how big the moments are, but how predictable they become. Your dog doesn't measure love in isolated actions. They measure it in patterns that repeat without needing to be questioned. The way you greet them, the way you move with them, the way you speak, the way you allow space, the way you stay when they settle beside you. Each of those moments alone doesn't define the relationship, but repeated over days, then weeks, then months, they form something your dog begins to trust without needing to check anymore. And that's when something changes. Because a dog who no longer needs to question where they stand with you starts showing you a different version of themselves entirely. When you step back and look at all of this, it becomes clear that love, from your dog's perspective, isn't something dramatic or obvious. It's something built quietly, through moments that don't look important until you understand what they mean. And once you see those moments differently, you start to realize something else. Not all signals your dog receives feel this way. Some of them create confusion instead, distance instead of connection, stress instead of certainty. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover next in 10 behaviors that quietly hurt your dog. Because understanding love is only one side of the relationship. The other side is recognizing the things that slowly break it without you ever meaning to.